Good news, Chicago. It's time for the annual Challengers Comics and Conversation. I love you, but I've chosen comics 25% off store-wide sale, both locations from February 7th through the 13th. I'm your man on the street, and I'm here to talk to other Chicagoans about it. Let's see how excited they are.
I saved so much money on manga.
I was gonna buy these comics anyway, but I mean, with 25% off, I guess I'll buy some more, you know? Like, it's like saving like a quarter of the cover price or something. That's like more than, twice the tax, even the bag tax.
Yes, I am very excited. There are many, many things I wish to purchase during the sale, and I'm equally excited to earn the t-shirt from Rosemary Valero O'Connell if I spend over $100, not counting tax, but after discount. I look good in red and or blue t-shirts.
I mean, like, this is right up my alley. I was already coming in to buy non-consignment, non-hold, non-previously discounted merchandise, so this is exactly what I needed to do to save 25% and get more comics for my money than I was going to, you know?
I only pirate comics, but I'll be dead soon.
My husband, he thinks I'm out buying him a Salisbury steak frozen dinner, but I'm not. I'm saving money on comics. I'm picking up my subscriptions, and I'm buying even more, and I'm saving money because I love comics, and I love saving money, but I love comics more. In fact, I love you, but I've chosen comics.
It's me again. I came back to save more money. I'm just here for C2E2 tickets. What? They're not on sale? I've wasted my life.
I'm a very modern, progressive man. I like comics, and I have a black friend.
Who?
I thought it was you.
No, man.
Then why'd you buy comics with me?
Because they're 25% off.
Look, this is Challenger's only store-wide sale for the entire year, and 25% off is pretty great. You'd be a fool to miss out. It's that simple.
For any occasion, so keep patting out waiting, comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the Challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
This day was wasted.
Why is that?
This day is worthless. I don't care what kind of money we did. I don't care how many people we made happy by introducing them to comics that'll change their lives and make them excited to read and experience art and culture. None of that matters.
Why?
Poppy didn't come in the store.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I tweeted her and everything.
Wow.
What more can I do?
Shut them all down.
Roll out a red carpet? I did. It's the carpet in Bucktown. It's all red, Poppy.
Yeah. You did your part.
I did. I did my part. I'm sure she would disagree, which is a wordplay on the name of her Alimentor. I disagree.
Got it.
Nonetheless, she didn't come in. And look, I could go and see her concert tonight, but I have a responsibility to podcast listeners around the world.
Mm-hmm. And assuming that Poppy is a listener of Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network from here in Chicago, I'm W. W. Bush, you're Patrick Brower. She's going to appreciate your dedication to this podcast.
Right. She'll know that I made the sacrifice.
Right.
And also, I really like her new album, but I don't know any of her back catalog.
Oh.
And I'm sure she's not going to play her entire new album.
I mean,
at a concert.
Traditionally not. Probably going to play a few tracks off of it, maybe 3 or 4 or 5, and the rest of it's going to be all back catalog
Which
stuff.
I'm not going to have
Greatest
known.
hits.
But wait, you say, dedicated listener, didn't Patrick previously say he couldn't go see Poppy because he had to go see Sons of Apollo at the Arcada Theater in St. Charles?
Dreaded continuity.
Yes, I did say that.
Oh, no.
Moving on. What you heard at the beginning of this podcast is audio from I was going to say commercial, but it's too long to be a commercial. It's like 2.5 minutes, 2:40.
I mean, because it's Super Bowl weekend, it's like those extended commercials. You know what I
Sure,
mean? Like
yeah,
they show a little
exactly.
clip of it, but then it's
Exactly.
like, do you want to see the rest of this very long Doritos campaign? Well, good news. That's what the internet was made for. That was it. That's what they made it for. Thanks, Al Gore.
In keeping with the Super Bowl, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs on winning the Super Bowl.
Wow. How did you predict that? How did you get it
It's
so right?
pretty amazing, right?
God.
I went so far as to hold something up over my mouth so you couldn't
now
see me
you're-
say
Now
it.
you're peeking behind
And
the
now-
curtain. Now.
But I mean, I still said it.
It
I still
was
said
it
it.
was a bit, and then you sold it out.
But the selling it out is the bit.
Not to me.
Fair enough. I'm also not changing that. So if the Chiefs lose, I'm not changing that.
I don't think the Chiefs are going to lose.
I mean, yeah.
I
Well,
don't know how the Miami Dolphins stadium was constructed, so potentially the entire Kansas City side of the stadium could collapse into the ground, giving the San Francisco 49ers the win by default. But
Don't discount the 49ers.
Short of
They
that-
earned their space in this.
they did.
They're not.
They,
I was
they
gonna-
were
I was
the-
gonna
they
say-
were the best team in half of the league.
I was going to say that they're not the underdog in this game, but I have no idea
Oh,
what
they
the,
are.
what is
Yes.
what's the spread.
I have no idea what the spread is, but basically every analyst is like it's the Chiefs game.
All right. Well, we'll see.
I mean, no less a authority than the Madden football video game. A bank of supercomputers crunching Madden football game stats said Kansas City Chiefs
Yeah, but
will win.
are they
the Super
able
Bowl.
to sit people out who are hurt?
I have no idea what their methodology is, Patrick. Let's assume it's rigorous.
I did not work with Donovan Challenger today.
No?
She does not work a regular day,
Mm-hmm.
but she still comes in for special events. She's been off the schedule regularly for over a year now.
Yeah.
I did not work with her today. However, I thought of her. I got a red curry pork rice bowl from the train station bun shop
Cool.
and could not stop sniffling when I ate it. And that is a Donovan trait of constantly blowing her nose when she eats her curries.
I get it from cheese.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Like,
Nearly every time I leave Chipotle, if I eat a quesadilla there,
okay.
I'm like, I need to blow my nose on the way back.
What
from the
about a
restaurant.
slice of cheese on a sandwich, or is that too small of amount of cheese?
Probably too small. Like
Okay.
it's not literally like I eat a piece of cheese and then my nose runs. It's more like high volumes of dairy cause
Okay.
my system to have a weird reaction.
Does that also happen when you drink milk?
I don't drink a lot of milk, so I
Right,
haven't
but when
really-
you have SpaghettiOs.
I haven't had SpaghettiOs in a long time. I don't really remember.
All right,
I-
well-
probably yes. Yeah, probably yes.
Next time you're eating SpaghettiOs, I would like you to
Next
to
time I travel back in time, I eat SpaghettiOs and have milk with it.
make it.
I will be sure to.
What, you're never going to have
Make an
SpaghettiOs
occasion.
again? Is that what you're saying?
It's been a while.
All right. No, I'll just, if ever, just leave a notepad hanging up near your...
I'll keep it on me at all times
SpaghettiOs.
forever, just in
Fair
case.
enough.
You never know when SpaghettiOs are going to happen.
So anyway, I decided I wanted to do a stupid video for the sale. And I was inspired by another comic shop who I'm not naming, not because I don't want you to go look them up, because I don't remember.
Oh, that's a good reason.
It was a Facebook video. They did a Wild West theme for a sale they're having, and I thought it was clever. And it made me realize that to get a lot of views on a thing, you really need to make yourself look stupid.
Or put a wrestler in it.
Oh, right.
I mean, those are like the two things. That's kind of it.
So we didn't go that far, but I just had this idea of doing a lot of, like a man in the street interview with different people talking about our sale. So I just started looking on YouTube for man in the street type of interviews, and I found a really great one from Wall Street, not the movie with Michael Douglas, the actual street in New York, back in 1979. And it had a lot of quick cuts and long cuts and a diversity of people in the video. And I was able to acquire the video. And then I thought it would be great to just do stupid voiceovers for it. And one of the things I wanted to do to make it authentic was not just have it be voiceover, because then it's just quiet but voice. So the longest part of the search in this scenario was finding good urban street background sounds
Okay.
that didn't have sirens or people talking
Sure.
or garbage trucks going by and everything.
Sure.
Like, I had to listen to a lot of audio files to find one that I liked. And it's quiet. It's in there. Like, you don't even notice it, but you would notice it if it wasn't there.
Sure.
So I had to get that as well. And I found a bunch of them, but a lot of them were, you have to pay for these. I had to find a free license one.
Sure.
And once I got this video, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to do a bunch of dumb voices. And I wanted to do it with a variety of people from challengers and whatnot. But I also wanted to get it done quickly. So that meant doing it mainly me,
Yeah.
which everyone will know which voices are mine and which aren't, because they all sound like me, just doing a dumb voice. I had the idea, and I found the video on Wednesday, so I was able to get Samantha Challenger to do a voice. And then I didn't start editing it, and really what I did first was I just did a bunch of voices into my phone saying different things about the sale.
Temp tracks.
But I didn't measure them up to who was talking, and where the video really doesn't work, but it's not supposed to be a masterpiece, is when I'm talking and the person who I'm supposed to be, is their mouth isn't moving, which happens a lot, but who cares?
Sure.
It wasn't until I got deeper into it that I'm like, okay, I need more voiceover stuff, so now I will put the whole thing on silent, play it, and when they talk, I'll talk. So there's a couple that line up pretty well.
Yeah.
And there's some real, like, jerky edits that were part of the actual... The actual video was like 5.5 minutes.
Yeah.
But we didn't use all of it.
Okay.
There were two guys. One, like, a really built Sylvester Stallone-like guy in a three-piece suit. And then, like, a small Leonardo DiCaprio guy next to him.
Okay.
And they were just doing, like, yes and no answers.
Uh-huh.
So there'd be, like, the interviews asking a long question. Then they're like, yeah, it's Wall Street. Yeah, Wall Street. Like that. And I thought it could be really funny just to do, like, a Lenny and George type voices for those guys. But they didn't talk long at all. They didn't say anything. Like, yeah, comics. 25%? Yeah, comics on sale. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't... And ultimately, I'm like, I don't have to use everybody on this video. So there are a few that I cut out. But it is up on the Challengers YouTube channel, which is Challengers, letter R, Go, Challengers R Go. YouTube.com/Challengers R Go. It's up on our Facebook page as well.
Okay.
And I don't know where else, but I'll try to put it elsewhere just to get exposure. And
Sure.
in the video itself, there's an end card that shows all about the sale, but I let the people say what they needed to say about the sale. There's a guest appearance by one W. Dal Bush.
On my day off, even.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm always working for the store. Always.
Always. There's no days off.
No.
There are no days off. Yeah, Dal, not only did he nail his line, he gave me 2 different versions.
Patrick, I'm an artist. I want to give you choices.
Yeah,
You know?
right. Yeah. And then coming down to the wire Thursday around 6 o'clock, I needed one more woman's voice. And I knew that I'd be working with Gina today, so I could have held it. But the way Sony Vegas Pro works is if you don't have all the files, like I could have the veg file that would open the project, but it needed to pull from where everything was. And I'm not going back to the computer in River North until Monday, so I wouldn't have been able to do it until then.
Sure.
Because everything is in a different place. So I'm like, I just got to finish this now. So I started texting women I know who might have time at that point in the day to do it. And I just realized now, as I'm saying this out loud, there's one of them who's still never gotten back to me. Well over a day later.
Great.
But the woman who filled in at the very end, the one who had the most logical thing to say, was done by, any guesses? Jill Thompson.
Eisner Award winner Jill Thompson.
Jill Thompson nailed it in one take.
Nice.
I mean, she's got a good improv background. She's performed on the stage,
Sure.
and she was happy to do it, and we were happy to have her do it, and
Thanks, Jill.
she got it done real quick. So yeah, thanks, Jill. So you heard it, but out of context, I think you need to see it.
Yeah, it definitely is an audio-visual thing.
Yes.
Not just an audio thing.
Yeah. So Dal, as someone who had no idea this was happening, what do you think of the end result?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for, the under-the-gun nature of it, like the finishing it and just, thinking it up one day and then doing it the next.
Yeah.
And needing to finish it, by 7 p.m. on a Thursday. I think it came out great.
Yeah. Thanks. There is a typo in the footer card that Dal noticed right away.
Well, that's how these things work.
Yep.
You're the one staring at it and you're like, everything's fine. Literally, the next person who looks at it is like, oh, you missed this. It's just how it works.
Not fixing it, leaving it in there.
No, it's
Don't
fine.
care.
It's fine. Like I told you when I saw it, everyone who sees this is going to be seeing this on a page of ours that has all the correct information, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Of course, I put it up today on, like I said, YouTube, and then I put it up separately on Facebook, so it's not pulling from there. And I did it on Twitter as well. But also today I put up the Ryan Brown artwork from the wall on River North
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Okay.
And so that copied over to Facebook. That's getting all the attention.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually how it works.
Yeah.
When we do a promotion thing of like, hey, we're doing something fun, people are like, that's great. And when we're like, hey, this artist friend of ours did this cool thing, oh my God, it's going to get so much more amplification because it's all of their fans from all over the world are going to be like, what? As opposed to just people in Chicago who are maybe fans of ours or in people who shop at our stores or folks that want a good deal.
So I did a Facebook ad for the sale. I realized about 2 minutes ago during this podcast that I probably should have done the ad for the video. By the way, Facebook says that videos that are 3 minutes or over have a better chance of being watched. And I vehemently disagree based on my video viewing on Facebook.
Maybe what you should have done then is take your 2.5 minute video and then also play Hearthstone for 30 seconds and then just append that to the end. And that way you'll hit all of their various metrics and stuff.
What is that?
It's the company Blizzard that does World of Warcraft. It's their video card game.
I see. So a quick sidebar here about the mummy. The mummy that the scientist made talk.
Yes, with the larynx that they printed.
Whose name that I legit remembered until I started talking about it and I forgot. And all I want to say is a Mux on a Moon.
Michael Mummy, go on.
So they
how ironic that he would become a mummy,
it's true. Yeah.
Also, that's not what ironic means, but go on.
They, as Dell said, they 3D printed his voice box, his larynx, and then passed air through it to make him talk. And they picked him because he's 3,000 years old, but his remains were very well preserved. And he also, in his coffin, it said that he knew that he'd speak again beyond the grave. So they wanted to make him do it.
Sure.
But they were only able to get...
trick,
That's true.
Fun trick.
They were only able to get 2 sounds out of it. So it says, "Arr," or "air." And of course, Greg James had played it to death. Well, beyond death, I guess.
BBC Radio 1 broadcaster, Greg James?
For the Radio 1 Breakfast Show.
Your personal Instagram friend,
Greg
James?
That's true, yeah.
Go on.
A listener had pointed out that it sounds a lot like part of a Dua Lipa song. So he
played that song.
He mixed it to where when she says the word me, it just says, and it works really well.
It's a really good gag.
And it's really funny. But other people pointed out...
Does Dua Lipa think it's funny?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
She did debut that song, world premiered that song on his show.
Sometimes artists don't think that stuff is as funny as non-artists think it's funny.
But then it was pointed out that the mummy sounds just like all of the townspeople in Minecraft.
Oh, okay.
They just walk around going, rah, rah, rah,
okay.
Rah.
Like Edward G. Robinson.
So he played
Anyway.
So he played a bunch of Minecraft people talking and then would put the mummy voice in it. And again, it works really well.
Sure.
And then he just assumed that the people at the institute where this happened, the scientists had said, we have nothing. Let's just use Minecraft. And put it in.
Science is it's a very tricky field. To It's more of an art than a science. Science is.
And now I'm lamenting not using that "marr" somewhere in the video.
That's okay.
It's not my thing.
There will be a sale next year, and it'll still be topical. Everyone's still going to be talking about that mummy with the 3D printed larynx.
I really wonder, for the sale, how many people who normally shop at Red are going to go to Blue because they want a blue shirt.
I don't know. I suppose we'll find out.
Yeah. So we're talking about the sale, which is starting this Friday, February 7th, and runs through the 13th, and it's 25% off of everything in the store except new this week. Oh man, I forgot new this week. I forgot to put new this week in the video card.
Oh, that's fine.
That's fine.
Say it everywhere else.
New this week, held items, consignment items, and C2E2 tickets. There's what I think is a really funny bit about C2E2 tickets in the video as well. Mm-hmm. Well, they already heard it, so there you go.
Yeah.
Although I realize again that I was having issues because I was using the same program we're using right now is what I was using to do the voiceovers. And when I would pull it down into Sony Vegas Pro to do the video editing, sometimes it was bringing up a file of nothing.
Huh.
And I realized that for all those video files, instead of just doing the video file or the audio files, it was also doing an SKV file for each one, and that's what I was pulling in by accident. So I had to keep deleting those. But whilst doing that one, there was an error, so I redid it. But I realized I used the first take, not the second take. The second take was better because it really emphasizes I've wasted my life. Mm-hmm. And it's because I didn't bother to rename those files. I just uploaded them as is, which is just the date and the time. And if you do a lot in a row, the seconds. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it could have been better. But you live and you learn. I hope people find it funny. And I hope that it makes them want to save 25% off of almost everything in the store. Except those things that we just said. And I think that we'll probably mention the sale next week as well in a how's it going kind of capacity, because we'll have had a day.
Yeah, a day. Well, it's depending on when we record.
A day or two, yeah.
A day. I've been giving out flyers at River North. I'll be giving out more flyers tomorrow.
Nice. People excited?
I guess, yeah. I mean,
hard to tell.
At least one person who was in today had thought the sale had already started because people don't really read signs.
No. Also, it says February.
I know.
Like, it was one thing when they came in between January 7th and 13th.
There's really
no excuse. They got the month wrong, but you missed the month and the date.
It's literally a case where there are, like, 10 words on the sign, and people see the word sale, and they literally don't read another word. They're just like, sale, let me go in. Like, well, it's not happening this minute. It's happening soon.
At what point in the transaction did that come up? Did they come up with books to buy?
Well, it was for their child, so they were getting stuff and there's a sale. It's like, oh, well, no, it's actually, next week. Here's a flyer. So they bought the book anyway, because it's not like they were going to tell the kid no at that point. And it was a copy of Yotsuba Volume 1.
Oh.
I said, this is one of my favorites. That kid did not care.
There was an older man with two very young children in today, and they kept calling him by a name. I don't know if it was a name or a word that meant father or friend or whatever. Mm-hmm. But they were doing it so much, and there was a very, very young son and a young daughter. The daughter was in Sidekicks, and the father figure was out looking at the shelves for himself in Challengers. And she kept saying, it's not Opa, but I'm going to say Opa. Opa! Opa! He's like, I'm in this room. Opa, so-and-so's reading this book. Okay. Opa, where are you? I'm in this room. And then so she comes in and can't see him. Uh-huh. And, Opa, where are you? Where are you? He's like, I'm literally right here behind the shelf. But then anyway, she's like, so-and-so's reading Watchmen. And he's like, oh, so-and-so should not be reading Watchmen. That is not a book for a child. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make sure that so-and-so's parents know this when I see them tonight. It wasn't someone who's in the store.
Right.
I'm like, oh God, if it's a kid like that reading Watchmen, I mean, they just won't get it.
Well, there is a bunch of nudity in it. Like, just a whole bunch.
No, you're thinking of the movie.
I'm never thinking of the movie.
It's an homage to that classic British children's show, Blue Peter.
Yikes.
That's all it is.
Yikes.
That's all it is. So anyway, sale. Sale's going
Sale.
there. So, what do you get when you put an S on a sale?
Sales?
Let's talk about January sales.
Sale.
Sale. Tales.
Anyway, let's talk about January sales.
Yeah, so we're recording this on January 31st.
Yes.
So I just did a quick add up of the January totals.
What we call back of the envelope math.
I mean to put it on the spreadsheet.
Okay, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't. I won't do the River North stuff until tomorrow.
That's fine. I was going to jokingly say, did we beat last January for
we
River
did.
North?
We exceeded January 2019 in River North.
Wow, it's pure profit,
Okay.
isn't it?
By a lot. I mean, by like 100%.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
So without saying specific numbers, because you don't know what they are, because you didn't add them up,
I mean, okay, go on.
do you know where we were in context of the month versus January 2019?
Yeah.
And that is close? Far? What?
Oh, I mean, I've been saying for the last few weeks, I mean, it seems like it's slow in Bucktown, but we're on track to match January 2019. Not necessarily exceed by any huge amount, but I thought we were in the ballpark. Like, if we were on one side or the other of January 2019, it was like a percentage point or two.
Right. So to beat January of 2019, today we would have had to do a number that was like 175% of a normal Friday.
Okay.
We beat it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good work.
We beat it by mere hundreds of dollars.
Sure.
I mean, also I lied. It wasn't that much. We would have had to do a normal
Yeah.
Friday
Yeah. I mean,
to tie.
I don't 100% know what we did on Thursday, but looking at the totals, it was like, I know where we were at as of Wednesday. I knew what we needed to do by the 31st. And I thought, this is possible.
I just showed Dal with my finger bones what Thursday did. So we needed to do a normal strong Friday, and we beat it. We beat last year by like $600.
Yeah.
So again,
is-
in our vernacular, that's flat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. And even when I got the number, I'm like, oh, is that it? I looked at last year. I'm like, oh, that's better than last year.
Yeah.
But worse than 2018, 2017, 2016.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah, it's
Take
kind
it
of
with a grain of salt.
kind of the new normal for January's for us. It's fine.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It is a very
It was a super weird month, though. I mean, it's not like a ton of books skipped a month, but it felt like nothing came out. And certainly, like, all of the new Marvel launches, kind of nobody cared. Thor #1, people didn't really care a whole lot. Guardians of the Galaxy did fine. Iron Man 2020, nobody really cared. What was this week's?
Quantum and Woody.
No, was it just Ravencroft? Is that it? Because, like, Marvel's thing was, like,
That didn't come out?
you can do a midnight release every week this month
Yeah, I
because we
guess
had a
so.
new #1 coming out, and it's like, I guess it was
Because it was all their number 2s. It was Star Wars 2, it was Thor 2.
Yeah. I mean, X-Men 5, that was the big book, obviously. But, yeah, it just didn't seem like a very strong month for comics publishing, in the sense of, like, big new releases that people were really excited about that would drive them to stores. There was good installments of things, but nothing that was like, oh my god, you've got to go to your store to get this. It's like, no, you could probably skip January if you wanted to. If your store's okay with that.
I'm never okay with that. It's a weird point because we're at a point where we have 2 stores that have bills.
Mm-hmm.
And, fun story. We got the Bucktown gas bill today,
Yeah.
and it was massive.
Uh-huh.
It was, like, close to $600.
Okay.
I'm like, that's wrong.
Uh-huh.
So I looked at it, and
Uh-huh.
it didn't have any payments applied to it from last month.
Okay.
So I called, and of course the mail person comes in at 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, they're going to be closed. They're not. I'm on hold forever. And what had happened was our last 2 payments got applied to, you know how all the issues we've had with the gas at that location?
Where someone in the residential takes over our account.
Yeah, and then when we get it back, it's like, oh, there's a couple months you gotta pay for and things like that. Well, each time that happens, they add a new number to the end of our account.
Uh-huh.
So right now we're at 00005.
Okay.
Well, the last two payments got applied to 00001.
Oh, jeez.
However, they caught it, and they knew that was wrong, and they had applied it internally. It just didn't make the bill.
Oh, okay.
So our bill was only $96.
Okay, that seems a lot more
Yeah,
reasonable.
very much so. I'm like, okay, and I had already gone in and made sure that everything was square on the PNC end, so that it's going to 00005.
I'm glad that number got resolved because I definitely have been keeping the thermostat at 84 degrees on the days I've been in the store, and I was not looking to have to lower that number to save money. So I'm just going to keep it where it's at. Probably going to raise it 86 degrees. That sounds good.
Well, it's the year that I graduated. I will point out that the Thursday employee in Bucktown did not lower the heat.
No, jeez.
Did not empty the trash. Did not mark off a single thing on the task list.
Fantastic.
And also did not do enough business to merit there being no.
Well, I mean, in
things
fairness,
done.
you don't know how busy it was on Reddit that day.
It
Could have been a
true.
lot of things in the subreddits.
I do know
You
that
don't know.
the tab was left open showing the Kree Supreme Intelligence from a deleted Captain Marvel scene.
Okay.
We referenced Ryan Brown briefly, but I want to thank Ryan Brown for signing at both Challengers locations this past Wednesday at River North and at Bucktown.
Thanks,
and we
Ryan.
had a decent turnout
Yeah.
at both stores. I'm assuming that was a question because
Sure.
I wasn't at Bucktown.
And I wasn't at River North, so I'm going to say yes to both.
But you heard him say he had a good
Sure.
experience at River North. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say what I did while he was there. I mean, he let me do it. I just don't know if it's a thing that should be publicly.
I can't imagine
discussed.
why it would be a problem.
I inked a panel of Quantum and Woody number 2.
Mhm.
It was fun, and he throws down a lot of lead.
Yeah.
And it's real scribbly, and I don't understand Quantum's new costume. So I had to make some judgment calls. And he just said, it's fine. If you mess it up, I can just fix it. It's fine. And I had fun doing it. And
cool.
it's... I when I work now, I have to wear drugstore cheaters. Like
Okay.
with a real heavy amplification. Because my glasses just aren't tight enough for the detail.
Oh, sure.
So I was like, I think that's aligned there, a lot of it.
Should we get you one of those little, like, magnifying glass jeweler's loop clip-ons for your glasses?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
So you can really get in there with one or two eyeballs?
yeah. I do have a pair of cheaters on my desk, but they're from years ago, so they're not even the right magnification
They're
anymore.
probably the magnification of your regular
They
glasses.
in fact are, yes. Yes, they are. But that was real swell. Ryan Brown's a swell guy,
He
and
is.
he's always a delight to have around, and
Thanks, Ryan.
people love him.
Quantum and Woody book's real good.
And that Quantum Woody book is real good. And what we didn't even know is the tour variant that we were a part of. That is
two things we didn't know about it.
is I don't think there's one that I don't know. The art on the cover was actually done by the writer Christopher Hastings.
Yeah, that was the one thing. The
Yeah.
other thing was, and I needed a fan to tell me this, the cover,
Oh yeah, the homage.
yeah, it's an homage to the Tango and Cash movie poster that I did not remember in any way, but clearly made an impression on Christopher Hastings.
Sure.
So yeah, that's how that ended up as the cover design.
So when you said that there was a fan who needed multiple copies, was it a Ryan Brown fan or a Tango and Cash fan?
Neither. It was a Valiant fan. And it was a Valiant fan getting 4 other Valiant fans on the Valiant fan boards
Oh, I see. Okay.
that were, I guess, not going to be near any of the various stops where you could pick up this tour exclusive cover.
I also had a friend of ours from a different store message today looking for a signed copy.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably be putting them up online fairly soon. It just, the last time I was at the store where we would list stuff online, it was in the midst of the event.
Right.
And I just didn't feel the need
Sure.
to kill myself
Yeah.
to get it done.
Yeah.
So probably go up Sunday or Monday probably. So if you're listening to this podcast, yeah, you can check on eBay. We'll have them up.
We had hired a public relations firm to send the press release that I had written for the announcement of the Blue Store a little bit further and to hopefully have more of an authoritative company behind it to make it seem viable for people to open. And we saw a lot of traction in the comics press, like more smaller sites in places I hadn't heard of before, but also Graphic Policy ran it.
Cool.
And we got word that local Chicago news stations opened it,
Uh-huh.
but we've seen nothing
Nope.
in that regard. And I was hoping our banner would be up by now.
Nope. At least as of this morning.
Yeah.
When I walked up to
It,
the
it should
business,
be.
I went, "Oh, it's
It
not up
should
yet."
be hopefully sometime next week.
I would guess.
Otherwise, we have a few interesting ideas from other people of things we could do. Oh, I didn't tell you the story. There was a point last year where I was complaining about the number of donation requests we were getting.
Yes.
Well, that's
It-
almost doubled now.
'Tis the season.
We're getting, but it wasn't January last year. It was like
my God.
summer. We're getting so many.
Donation season isn't a time of year, Patrick. It's a state
Yeah.
of mind.
We're getting so many requests for donations, but
And
a woman.
look, I mean, I don't want to get up on a soapbox here,
Sure,
but
but you can. It's your podcast.
I can. It's partially my podcast. I'm the guest host this week on Patrick's Contest of Challengers podcast. We get a lot of donation requests, and there's ones where I'm like, God, I wish we could do more. Or, I wish we were in a better financial position to be able to help these people who are, putting together donations for like Australian wildfire relief or
Yeah.
someone's medical bills or, social causes that I'm interested in or believe in. But then there's people who are just like, hey, I'm doing a play. You can help me make money for my play by providing things for my play. And it's like, that's not the same thing.
No.
I mean, I don't know what that is, but I don't feel like that's an appropriate donation ask. Is just like, I'm making art I want to make, and it's not making me any money. So can you give me stuff so I can auction it off to make my art? And it's like,
Can we
I
just
don't
walk into
know
other
you.
businesses and say, hey, we're trying to raise money for our store?
I mean, I guess people do that. I guess they genuinely just like cold ask people like it's no big deal. But again, like if you're soliciting for, the greater good, then yeah, you can absolutely like just cold call people and be like, this is something that I'd like help with, and it's something that I feel has value, and I think it's something that is a benefit to society. But then there's people who are just essentially, the equivalent of, hey, can you just give me stuff? Like,
Right.
why? Why is that something I would need to consider? Like, I don't... Yeah. So those are the two kinds of donation requests we get, and half of them really bother me. But anyway.
Well, on the same note, I've stopped agreeing to put up flyers in Bucktown
Sure.
because I think it doesn't fit our aesthetic.
Yeah.
We make small allowances for good friends or fellow businesses or for club members. Like we had a club member whose band was playing a show. Fine, I'll put it up.
Yeah, and
begrudgingly.
And again, it's much like the two kinds of donation requests. Like if somebody who I know personally needs help and I can help them, I want to help them. But if it's
Right.
a total stranger, I have to wait against like what exactly are you doing? Like where if I'm giving you this, what is it for? And yeah, some of this stuff is just like promote my band, and it's like no, I don't want to do that. I don't know your
there is
band.
a flyer up right now. A guy who is doing a William Moulton Marston musical
Okay,
all about the creation of Wonder Woman,
sure.
and he gave us a CD with the soundtrack,
Sure.
which we did not ask for.
No, but I mean it's comics related, so
And it's a
that's-
good-looking flyer,
that's
so we
fine.
put it up.
Sure.
And Toy du Jour just moved to a new
Yeah.
massive location.
I'd gladly help out Sam. Yeah.
So we still have their flyer up. It's
Sure.
a Skeletor flyer. Also, Sam, because I know you're a dedicated listener to this podcast, the only reason I didn't make it to your grand opening last Saturday is because I was at Cinnamon Sound Studio recording vocals for 4 songs for a Serpent Crown album.
And Patrick said I couldn't go without him, so that's why I didn't go.
That's the rule.
That's it.
But I had a woman come into River North the other day and come right up to the counter collecting donations for a mental health thing. I don't know if it was a race or a fundraiser or whatever it was. And I had to her face, tell her no.
Uh-huh.
I said, I'm real sorry. Everybody's hitting us up for donations right now. We can't donate to everybody. I'm sure it's a worthy cause. I wish you nothing but success. If you have any literature you want to leave. And she said, what do you mean by literature? I mean, if you have flyers or, I can hang up a flyer? Well, I meant if you had flyers to give out, but sure. If you have a flyer, I will hang up your flyer. at this point in time, it cannot come out of our pocket.
No, there's nothing in those pockets.
To be able to pay rent for Blue for February, we had to juggle so many things.
I'm sure.
And it is a miracle.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that, like all of these magic tricks, you can only do one time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll have to see what happens in February.
Yeah.
Big old question mark. I mean, there's some other stuff that we talked about that could kind of help with the burden of River North, and it is a burden. But it's stuff that we're kind of waiting on things to get approval at other levels to be like, can we have that thing that's going to help us out happen now instead of happen in 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever?
I don't even know what you're talking about, but I
the
hope it's a
diamond
good
stuff.
thing. Oh, right. Yeah, things that'll make life a little bit easier.
Basically, Diamond fixing an error that they shouldn't have made in the first place. That's why it's an error. And we're just waiting for them to say, yes, it's being fixed now, as opposed to in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever.
Another retailer said that if you outright ask Diamond to audit your shipping for a week, they'll tell you exactly what each box costs to send. And one person did it. It was furious because they paid $10 shipping on a box that had one Funko Pop.
I believe it.
Yeah. That's why we're not going to audit our shipping.
Yeah. I mean, and UPS is not cheap. Even if you have, like, really great deals, like, UPS is still UPS.
Yeah.
We don't ship stuff UPS for that reason.
Yep.
It's kind of expensive.
We're not going to do a deep dive on shipping because we did that a few months ago. But it is definitely a thing. When you look at how much we spend on shipping, and somebody was talking about...
That's why a lot of stores don't do direct shipping for their reorders.
Sure.
Because it's really expensive.
It is not cost effective.
No. I mean, and we talked about this before, I'm sure it was a while ago, but it's a trade-off. Like, we can have a lighter inventory because we reorder more rapidly.
Yeah.
If it took us 2 to 3 weeks to get a reorder in, we would probably have to carry multiples of more books because we would be selling another copy somewhere in that 3 weeks if we had it. But as it is, like, usually we're only, a few days to a week away from restocking something.
I think at this point, realistically, you and I both thought we'd be able to have ordered 2 more bookshelves for Blue by now.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of stuff where we're like, well, let's get through December and January, and then but it's like, it's River North Blue. It's so much worse than we could have anticipated financially. Like, it's so much lower than even our bottom low end predictions.
Here's what I've been telling everybody. Like, our lowest sales expectations for that store were based off of when we opened Red back like 12 years ago.
Which was a store that we opened 12 years ago with zero heat behind us. We were nobody. Challengers was a brand new thing. We had no, social media accounts because social media barely existed then. I was a guy that worked in the suburbs. Patrick worked in a completely different part of the city. Like, we did not have really anything. And so when we looked at those numbers, we're like, well, that's what a brand new store does with nothing.
Right. So we weren't a brand. Now we are internationally recognized, award-winning. Our comic footprint is fairly large, and we're doing about less than half of what our bottom level... Well, if we do this, that'll be...
Yeah.
That's manageable.
Yeah, our number for River North was built around the idea of basically our payroll for that store currently is 0. Because Patrick and I are working 6 days a week there, and we don't make any extra money working there.
Right.
We're just working there. So we were able, to base our numbers on that store can make so much less than Bucktown makes because there's no payroll. So doing what Bucktown opened with 12 years ago is sustainable, is totally something we could build off of. That store is basically, it's not a drain on revenue. It is fine. So when we're doing a third of that in a week, that's terrible. Like, that's so far below the floor of what we thought that store was going to do. The ceiling was hopefully, 4 times that.
Right.
So to be doing a third of just like what we assume, like, you just open the doors in Chicago with a comic shop and this is what you can make, because we didn't do, a ton of advertising or a lot of word of mouth or whatever. We just opened the doors in Bucktown And we were doing 3 times what we're doing for the store in River North that has that we've put money into advertising, that we've spent months promoting on social medias that have thousands of people on them, all this stuff. And it's like, didn't matter at all. Zero impact.
And more than that, it's a good store.
I think it's okay.
What Bucktown looked like when it opened versus what it is now.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's night and day. And
Yeah.
we built Blue off of what Bucktown is now.
12 years worth of lessons that we learned at the old store applied from day one for the new store. I mean, it's not perfect. There's things I don't like about River North. I've talked about them before. But I think for what we have there, I think it's a compelling proposition if you're a comics fan in Chicago. But holy shit, nobody cares. Or at least I'm always hyperbole. It's not that nobody cares. It's just that no one's finding it.
Considerably less people are caring than we expected them to.
Yeah, and it would be one thing if like the few people who found us were all like, "This is great, I'm buying a bunch of stuff." Like, we get a few people who come in and buy a couple comics, and a few people who buy a couple trades, and then some people who come in and they just do a circuit, or they're there for 20 minutes and they buy nothing. The amount of people that come in and tell us, "This store is so great, I'm going to be here all the time," and then A, they don't buy anything, B, we never see them again, is astonishing. I've never experienced anything like it. Like, we had stuff in the first year of Bucktown where people would come in and they'd say how great the store is and they wouldn't buy anything, and it's like, well, I can't take those compliments to my landlord. But it was offset with meeting new people and new subscribers, and like on Fridays and Saturdays when I work in River North, I don't have a lot to work on. Tuesdays when I'm there, got new books to check in, and I'll read the new comics. I'll do a reorder later in the evening. So there's projects and things to kind of keep me occupied. On Friday and Saturday, I am desperate for someone to talk to.
Sure.
It's easily the worst part is just the like, I can't chatter with anyone because no one who comes in is like a regular who I can keep up with, or even the people who are coming in kind of don't want to talk about anything. Like, I try, I feel like I'm trying, but I'm not getting a lot from them. Like, they don't want to talk about comics. And I'm even talking about the ones that actually buy something. The ones that don't buy anything, they don't want to talk about comics. They don't care about comics.
I tell you, I did have a guy on Wednesday who really wanted to talk about, the R-rated comics, like Dawn.
Uh-huh.
Where's the Dawn books?
Uh-huh.
Where's the, I bought a book called Vamplade. Sure, I like that kind of stuff. Where are your R-rated books?
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're not.
Yeah.
This is not for you.
No.
Quick sidebar of a guy was in today, and he's like, "Yeah, I hear that the Eternals movie is based off of the Neil Gaiman story. Is that true?" And I said, "I have no idea.
I guess we'll find out in
I
November.
don't know." He's like, "No, but I read that. Like, do you have that book?" Yeah. So Gina gets it. Like, here it is, right here. Here it is. Oh, it's just one? Well, what do you mean? I thought it was from a series. Well, yeah, it was a series, but they collected it into one. This is the whole thing. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be more. I'm not going to get this now. Wait, because it's not enough?
Yeah. There's not
Hey.
more of it? It's 8 issues.
Hey, do you have this? I'm like, oh man, I am not going to put a thing in your hand that you're asking about because I just did, and you don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to want any of this stuff. So I don't want to help you.
Yeah. It's definitely a customer type.
Yeah.
I just want to know that you have things. Why? Why do you want to know that?
So here's the thing about Blue that's disturbing me.
Uh-huh. The one thing?
Well, we're getting like each week we find more people who are there to buy comics,
Sure.
but it's not building.
No.
The weeks aren't getting progressively better.
No. This one was terrible.
It really was.
Jesus. Monday and Tuesday were
Oh man.
unreal.
I hope you did better than Monday or Tuesday today.
Yeah, we did fine today.
Okay.
Um,
All right. And see that's
and
encouraging.
Fine. Let me
Fine for Blue.
Let me categorize fine as not eye-openingly terrible like Monday and Tuesday were. Like,
Yeah.
Tuesday alone was a day where I'm like, it was so close to being, and it honestly might have been the slowest day I've ever worked in a comic shop. Like, there have been days where it has been, in Bucktown, where it has been like minus 30 with the wind chill, and we did 4 to 5 times what I did on just a Tuesday, a Tuesday in January in River North.
Yep.
It's insane to me how invisible that store feels for no real reason. And like, there's things you can look at where it's like, well, you're not on a main street. I don't want to, like, compare us to other shops in Chicago. I don't know what their business is like. I don't know how they do. I will mention that Alley Cat Comics is literally down an alley.
Yep.
Literally down an alley. So if you're going to say that, like, well, you're on Franklin, you're not really on a main street. We're on a street. A two-way street. So
yes.
visibility is sort of fine. I'd also mentioned that the store that we have in Bucktown on Western Avenue, heavily trafficked main street, our storefront is like 100 feet long? How long would you say the windows are? 50, 60 feet at least?
60, 65 feet, I would say.
Sure, which is,
65 to 72 feet.
For a street-facing storefront,
that's huge.
Pretty huge. We still get people coming in saying, when did you guys open? Been there for 12 years, and we still get people. So, A, being on a side street is not disqualifying, and B, being on a main street does not exactly mean that everyone notices you. So the location thing is the location thing, but again, when we opened up, Western Avenue in Bucktown did not have as much stuff as it does now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and when we were in the building, there was no other business in the building. We were the first one there for a while. So it's insane to me that being in, like, directly beneath a CTA train stop is having, like, a third the business that the Bucktown store had. I honestly can't understand it. It feels insane to me. Because again, like, when we came up with a number for what that store needed to do, we went ahead with it because it's like, all it needs to do is what this other store did 12 years ago when we were nobody. And it's like, somehow every estimate we ever have for a business, no matter how low we make it, reality is like, cool, what if you did a fraction of that? Like, well, then things would be really difficult for us.
Also, in a geographically busier part of Chicago.
Yeah.
There are more people concentrated in that area.
There are more people living in River North than live in Bucktown.
Yeah.
Way more. But yeah, and it's not like, and again, when we opened the Bucktown store, we were two train stops away from where G-Mart was.
Yeah.
And we were like a train stop away and a little walking from where Brainstorm was.
Yes.
The stores that were close by in River North are so much farther away than that.
So much farther away.
So much farther away.
I mean, we're one of them.
Yeah, and so the idea that, again, all of the things that there are things about the River North store that are better for us theoretically than we had when we opened the store in Bucktown, and the business is so much worse, like unbelievably worse. It's so weird. It would be fascinating if it also wasn't terrifying.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's definitely true.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely things I could say about where my mindset has been at the last 2 weeks that are probably not appropriate for this podcast. Because I know my mom listens to it.
I mean, you can imagine that I'm right there with you, buddy.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, basically this is the... we had a lot of plans and strategies for like, well, if we do this amount, we can do this. And if we do this amount, we can do this other thing. We are kind of on the other end of that scale where it's like, if this keeps happening, we have to do this. And if it keeps doing this other thing, we'll have to do this other thing.
Don't mention the Earning Bay Own Day because of insurance.
No. Don't even put that out there, because now if it accidentally happens, it's going to be like, well... Can't even
It's
joke.
obviously somebody from the Foot Clinic
Can't
next
even
door
joke about
smoking
that stuff.
behind the
Can't joke
the
about
store.
that. Yeah, fun times in River North.
I'll admit that I'm counting November in this next thing that I'm saying.
Okay.
Now that it's been 3 months of an insane schedule, it's getting to me.
Yeah, it's definitely affected my ability to do kind of the above and beyond ownership stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be that I would have, 3 days off, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So if I needed to go to FedEx office to do copies for the store, I'd go on a Thursday. I'm out getting lunch. I'll just walk over there. And some of it's the weather, but a lot of it is just I genuinely do not want to do 20 more minutes work if I don't have to. So I keep putting it off. I could have gone Thursday to print out the new series flyers that we put on the front of the register at both stores. I haven't done it yet. I'll probably do it tomorrow night on the way home. Probably. But it's just that's stuff that was like the easy, one minor thing I'll do on my day off. And now it's like, I don't want to do anything on my day off. I have so little of it that I just don't. And like my psychology, I don't mind working extra and doing more work if it feels like it's financially worthwhile. Do you know what I mean?
If it's in service of the greater good.
Yeah, like I don't mind doing midnight openings if we're going to do $1,000. Like that's worth being there for an hour for.
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
I would do that every time if I knew I was going to make $1,000 every time we did a midnight opening. We'd do them constantly. It's just when we do a midnight opening and we do like $150, it's like, well, Jesus Christ, I could have just stayed home. We'd make this $150 tomorrow. River North has a lot of that where it's like, to be losing 2 of my days off and then having it be in service of essentially like not making any money and not having my quality of life look like it's going to improve anytime soon. It's like, I kind of resent it a little bit. I resent the like, I'm just sitting here watching Kamen Rider. Like, why do I need to be here to do that? You know? I could do that at home.
I was going to say I have yet to just do that. I'm just going to watch TV. But I did watch an episode of Avenue Q. Avenue 5.
Avenue 5, sure.
I'm sorry. Don't know where the Q came from.
Is that why VLC Player was full screen?
No, VLC Player was full screen for the video.
Oh, okay.
For the video.
Because I don't usually watch my Kamen Rider full screen. I'll shrink it down because I got to look at the subtitles.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I had to shrink that down.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it was for the. But that's why I want another reason I want to get the video done at the store. I don't want to come home and work on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame you.
Now I have 2 more topics. One is very brief.
What are they?
We've finished going through the consignment books. We pulled a bunch off the shelf at Bucktown. And then we found as many of the pages as we can. The book has been completely re-alphabetized by title.
I saw that because I had to put something new in there, and I got a little confused for a second. Then I remembered you said that you wanted to do that, and I thought, I guess it's partially been done.
But more than that, we went through I was the ringleader.
Uh-huh.
I did none of this.
Sure.
It was entirely Samantha, Gina, Samantha again, and Ashley.
Great. Good job, everybody.
And then, I can't remember who did this, but I think it was, and Lizzie. Lizzie did this last part. Going through all of the books that we pulled and looking at what we would owe people. Mm-hmm. We haven't called anybody because we owe about $135 out of the consignment stuff. And there's a couple that we've paid out where the numbers don't match. Like, we couldn't find the book, so we paid out. Here's the book.
Oh, sure. Okay.
That kind of stuff. So we lost money that way as well.
Sure.
So the boxes are just organized and sitting under the front tables. Mm-hmm. But we haven't started calling because we're not in a position right now to start giving people money for those books.
Yeah. That they probably forgot we even have.
That was more of a way for me to tell you this, but I figured I'd share it with everyone listening as well.
Speaking of the people you have working with you, can I ask a favor for you to have them do on Saturday?
Maybe.
It's a very quick task.
Okay.
It's going to save me some time on Sunday.
Okay.
I did a round of emails to delinquent subscribers. Sunday I'm going to be doing phone calls. If you can have them take the sheet and cross off anybody who's come in already.
Okay. And the sheet is just in the normal place?
Yeah, it's just the normal place.
Okay.
Yeah, if they can cross off anyone who doesn't have books on hold or has paid for books on hold, that would be great.
That's another thing, is I'm the person that's doing the pulling. Mm-hmm. Now, when people call to pay for their books, and they think like, I paid for them, I still think I have to move these. They're still physically in my way. Somebody called to pay for theirs today, but a friend of theirs is coming in to pick them up in the next day or two.
That's cool.
This is the thing we need to talk about that I just keep forgetting to bring up. Mm-hmm. And we need to talk about it now because the FOC for all the free Comic Day books are tomorrow.
Not all of them.
Okay. Some of them.
Yeah. Not the Marvel, DC, some IDW maybe, Dark Horse?
Okay.
Somebody else.
Here's my question. Mm-hmm. What are we doing for Free Comic Book Day?
What do you mean?
We haven't done a single thing.
Right.
Like, first of all, what's our division of labor? Second of all, do we reach out to local artists again? Do the same thing? Do we reach out to cosplayers again?
Yeah. Basically, because of the time and the resources you and I can devote to it, I feel like Bucktown has to just be what we did last year. Just, I mean, the not the staffing, but the event itself is just what we did last year.
Sure.
Honestly, for River North, unless things start to change drastically, it's pretty much just going to be me.
All right. I was going to suggest the opposite.
Okay.
You have a much more important function at Bucktown during Free Comic Book Day.
I mean, not necessarily. It's
Well, here was what I was
it's
going to
just
suggest.
ringing people up. Donovan could do that.
I was going to say, I'll go to River North. I'll take Sam, George, and Parker.
Okay.
And then you can stay in Bucktown with everybody else. But I don't know, are we trying to get artists in River North and cosplayers in River North?
Yeah, I mean, a smaller amount, yes. Yeah.
It's just that at this point, we haven't built up anybody.
Yeah, we would just be pulling from Bucktown.
We'd be pulling from Bucktown.
There's no River North cosplayers. There's
Right.
no River North artists.
Not that we know yet. So
No.
we'd just be pulling from...
Yeah. We would just need more, and then like a fraction of them would have to go over to River North. Yeah, I mean, we still haven't figured out, and we'll need to figure out at some point where the Free Comic Day comics are going to go.
Yeah, for both
in
stores.
in River North.
And Bucktown.
Yeah,
We don't have shelves.
yeah. I mean, the hope was always that we would replace those.
Right. I'm not counting on that.
Yeah, I'm not counting on it either. I think the short thing is probably just. I think we'll probably just pull the books off of the shelves in Sidekicks,
Yeah.
box them up for the day, and then put everything on those shelves.
Build the normal island.
No, I honestly just
Oh,
put
just
them
put
on
on
the
the
wall.
shelves? Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it would save us a ton of time
Yeah.
because it's just shelves on the wall. Here you go. I mean, it's probably the same amount of space.
Would you still want to move the middle
Yeah.
bookshelves out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause if for no other reason than it would be confusing, I think, to have them in there with all of the free comics
Yeah,
as well.
that's true.
Not that having the graphic novels on the shelves while we had the free comics on the floor was ever confusing for people, but maybe it was. I wasn't in that room. Yeah, I think we probably... I mean, I would think of River North's Free Comic Book Day as being a third as much as we would do for Bucktown. Because of the space we've got and the
I feel
people
like
we have.
people will find Free Comic Book Day.
Sure.
Like, they always find it. Like, we see a million people we never see
Sure.
normally. So I think that it'll be a decent enough day.
Yeah. But I just mean, like, we don't have the space to put a bunch of people
Drawing.
drawing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
so...
we have a counter.
So, I don't know if we've got the space for this, and it's really tricky, but we could do something where we put the artist at River North kind of in the front window. Like, move the couch and move the
Sure.
kids' table,
Yeah.
and kind of maybe put them... You couldn't do them flat against the window because of where the door is, but you could kind of do them diagonally where the corner is. If that makes any sense?
Yes. It does. I think we could fit 2 tables there.
Maybe. I mean, we could always move a few things around, shift some stuff down, whatever. That doesn't solve where the comics would go necessarily.
Oh, the comics will go on the... Like, we'll just pull all the New This Week books and put them on the regular shelves,
Sure.
and then have to put them back.
Or not put them back.
And then just have
It
it
just
empty
means
for
move it.
Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, Sunday, Monday. Who
Okay.
cares?
So we can do that, and we could, if we need to, we could... right next to that is toys, though, so there's no actual shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could just cram them under there.
I mean, we're not getting a million,
Yeah.
so I think there'll be plenty of space for all of those books. I mean, when you think about what we would do for Bucktown, it was how many shelves on each side?
It
many
was total,
four-
it was
how many
total,
4-foots?
it was total of 50 shelves. 50 2-foot shelves. 50,
So 25 4-foot shelves?
sure.
I mean, the equivalent thereof.
Yeah.
And that
Because
section,
we do 5, and
Right.
we do...
that section's 18 in Bucktown, in River North.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I think that's, again, based on kind of what we're ordering and what we're expecting turnout-wise, I think that's plenty of space.
2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot. So it's 10 2-foot sections with 5 shelves each, so 50 spaces.
Yeah, okay.
50.
So, yeah, I think the New This Week section
50
in River
shelves.
North should be sufficient for the Free Comic Book Day comics to
Okay.
all get displayed. And then, yeah, I mean, you could put somebody on the right counter in River North if you wanted to, but it just... I feel like that we'd need that space for something else.
Yeah, well, I mean, we want people there to be able to see what's happening. If we need it, people will be on the floor.
But I mean, with people coming up to the register, I think putting an artist directly next to where we are for that day is probably not super great.
Yeah.
I mean, you may, once you do a layout or walkthrough, you may feel differently, but just in my mind, I feel like if we could put the artists maybe up front. The only problem with that, I say problem, but like you could put the artists up there and then a cosplayer next to them. And the cosplayer's job is to say, hey, the free comics are going to be right over here. You know, the explaining it to everybody part would kind of happen there, maybe. Like, and
depending on the weather, we'll obviously want the cosplayers outside to draw people in.
Right, but I mean, you probably want to have 2 cosplayers then. Like, one outside for the line, one inside
I mean,
for
like,
the welcome
we'll
to
get,
the store aspect.
It depends on how many cosplayers we can get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the thing. That and the artists, I think we need to do a little bit more of an early push for in, like, February and March.
I mean,
is they start like locking people in, like beyond our normal ones. Like, I don't know if there's a way.
we're behind schedule.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I guess soon with that. Then,
do you want to be cosplayer person?
I don't. Who would I even? I don't even know who to talk to. I mean, is it just Stella
and Drew and Ashley?
Okay, yeah. But I was also thinking, and maybe you'll see somebody on like Facebook or something like.
Odell, I tried.
Okay.
I joined a bunch of fake cosplayer groups.
Okay.
And every time I post something, I get crickets.
Okay. I will reach out to somebody I know that did cosplay stuff to see if they have a group that's possible.
Okay.
Yeah. So Stella and Drew and Ashley, and that's okay. Sure. I will. I'll reach out to them probably tomorrow. I guess probably tomorrow.
Sure.
Yeah. Hopefully we can, because I think, I mean, if we can get like 2 folks for River North and 2 or 3 folks for Bucktown, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd be okay with that.
Oh, Maria.
Yeah, I was just about to say, oh, and Maria.
Yeah. I'm sure there's people we're obviously forgetting obviously that we'll remember, or
sure.
Hopefully they'll remind us.
Well, they can all get emails too.
Yep. Everybody. Email everybody.
If anyone listening to this is someone who does cosplay in Chicago, please let us know. We will work out a deal where you're going to get some comic book money to be in costume for a day.
Even though this is January recording this goes up in February, so it is that time of the episode.
Oh, yay.
Where, is that why your phone is out already? You know what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that tone of voice.
Thank you. I know that tone of voice. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, Robert Burns, Matt Armstrong, Ryan Alcock, Mike Lee, Mitchell Davies, Tom Nagovin, Jose Villagomez, the entire Springham family, Michael Romanenko, who got mentioned just 2.5 times right there, Artie White, Morgan Kaiju Perry, and Arun Singh, Robert Lane, Jacob Sorelli, Christina McChrystal, Brother Bear Mark Hammond, Marcuson Nasso, Ryan Hecht, Chris Burton, Ryan Hecht. I said Hecht. Ryan Hecht. It's not a good week for me in names, I guess.
I guess not.
Chris Burton again, Diane Bush, Bridget Neville, and I guess godfather into this, my brother George Brower. Thank you all for supporting us on Patreon. Thank you to the new patrons we got this week who may not be at this level, but we still appreciate you that you're there no matter what. And if you keep supporting this, we'll keep doing this. But if, like, in 1 week you all decided, nah, we're done, and you take your pledges away, we'll probably stop doing this.
Wow, really?
I mean, if they all, in 1 week, quit.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
I mean...
That would definitely be a vote of no confidence.
Then maybe I would be at Sons of Apollo tonight after all. If I wasn't doing this.
I mean,
who knows?
You'd be
but maybe I'm telling them that they should quit so I could do more social things. No, don't do that.
No. And plus, I mean, you'd be letting down the non-Patreon supporters like Poppy, who, as we already mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, listens to Contest of Challengers.
And Sam. Sam, Toy de Jour Sam.
Sam Wells, yeah.
Yeah.
They probably listen to it together.
Oh, son of a bitch. How dare you. That's it. I'm too angry to continue. Thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155.
And in the River North neighborhood of Chicago at 750 North Franklin Street, number 103, 312-285-2252.
Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.
Poppy? Poppy? Poppy, can you hear me?